So in the today's session, we're going to learn locators. So most important topic and also a very big topic. So first of all, we need to understand what is a locator. So throughout automation, there are only two things are most important. First thing, we have to identify the elements or locate the elements on the web page. So once you identified or locate an element, then we have to perform certain action on that element. So these are the only two things we have to learn from automation. Because in our web page, you can see different type of elements, various types of elements, and we have to locate them uniquely. Let's say you have a 2 or 3 input boxes, and whichever input box you want to perform action, you want to locate exactly the same input box. Similarly, if you have a number of checkboxes, you have to locate a specific checkbox, whichever you want to perform an action. So like that, there are n number of elements are there in the web page, and you should able to locate a specific element on which you want to perform the operation. And that is possible only through locators. And Selenium is provided various types of locators to locate web elements, and we will try to understand them. And the second thing is actions. So to perform the action on the web element, again, there are so many methods are available. Once you locate an element, we can perform different type of actions and different type of elements. So that also we have to understand. So once you know how to locate an element, how to perform the action, then you will able to automate the test cases. Okay. So the first part is locators. So we need to understand what are the locators are provided by Selenium and how can we locate a web elements using locators. But before using locators, we need to understand some basic stuff from HTML, because web pages are mostly designed by using HTML. HTML is a scripting language, hypertext markup language. So we need to understand some basic, very basic stuff like what is tag, what is an attribute, what are the values. We should be able to recognize them from HTML, and then we will able to work with the locator. So the basic knowledge is required from HTML. Okay, so now, so what are the different type of locators supported in Selenium? So especially Selenium supported different type of locators, and we can categorize into two parts. So basic locators and customized locators. So the purpose of locator is nothing but what we can identify element. We can locate an element. So that is a purpose of locator. And there are two kinds of locators are provided: basic locators, customized locators. So basic locators means what? ID, name, LinkText, PartialLinkText, class name, tag name. So these are all basic locators. And these locators are directly supported by Selenium through methods. Like when I use by class, the by class, there are some static methods are there like ID, name, LinkText, PartialLinkText, class name, tag name. You can find all the methods in by class itself. So these are direct locators provided by Selenium, and we can easily find out in HTML. Suppose if there is an element which is having ID attribute, we can use ID as a locator. If we have a name attribute, we can use name attribute. And link text, partial link text, class name, tag name, we use these type of locators, the different scenarios for different purposes. And we can find everything in HTML itself. All these basic locators we can directly find in HTML itself. But sometimes ID may be there, sometimes name will be there, ID may not be there. Okay, and LinkText, partial link text we use especially for dealing with the links, and class name, tag name locators we will use especially when you're working with a multiple web elements and group of web elements. So different scenarios, we will try to choose a different type of locators. But all these things we can find in HTML itself. If you look at an HTML of the page, you can find all these things directly on HTML. But what is customized locator? So customized locators, we can generate or we can create our own locators, and we cannot directly find them in HTML. And whatever properties or attributes are available for that element, by using those attributes, we can generate our own selectors. Like it can be XPath, it can be CSS, whatever. So these locators are customized locators. We cannot directly find from HTML itself. we have to create our own locators, or we can generate locators. So which is customizable. Suppose if there is any one element, if there is an element and somebody is written XPath for that element and somebody else is also written XPath for that element, both are may not be the same. So some guy written XPath by using some properties, other guy is written XPath for the same element by using some other properties. So these are all customizable, user defined. So we can write our own locators according to your knowledge, CSS and XPath. So these are all comes under customized locators. And again, these two are having so many features, so many approaches, so many attributes, so many methods we can use. So we can call them as a customized locators. We cannot directly get it from HTML just like a normal basic locators. So ID, name, these are all available as a properties or as an attribute for the element. Class name we also is available as an attribute. Tag name we can see for every element. LinkText, PartialLinkText also we can directly get it from HTML. But we cannot directly get CSS and XPath from HTML. So we have to generate it, or we can or we can write our own XPath or own CSS. So that is a major difference between basic locators and customized locators. Now the purpose is same, whether it is a basic locator or customized locator. The ultimate goal is what? We need to locate an element uniquely, or you need to identify the web element uniquely. That is the ultimate goal. Now, another question. Why these many locators are supported to locate an element, and which one we have to use? So there is no rule we have to use only this particular locator. Okay, you can use any type of locator, whichever you familiar with. Ultimate goal is whether you are able to locate an element or not. That's the only thing we need to consider. Suppose if there is any one element is there, for that element ID attribute is there. So you can use ID as a locator. Or if you want to write an XPath for that element, you can still write an XPath by using ID attribute. Right? You can use CSS also. And if suppose if there is a link element is there, for that link you can use LinkText or PartialLinkText locator, or you can write CSS or XPath also. Okay, there is no rule like you have to use only this particular locator here in this particular situation, or in this particular locator in this situation. It's not like that. So whichever locator you familiar with, you can use that locator for that element. But why these many locators are provided by Selenium is sometimes locator may not work for that element. For example, let us say ID attribute is there for that element. And even though if I use ID directly, sometimes it may not locate an element. If you are working with the complex web pages, even though you have direct locators like class name, tag name, or name or ID, still they may not able to locate a web elements. In those cases, you can choose for XPath or CSS. But why they may not able to locate an element, even though if we are using right properties or right attribute, because the attributes are keeps changing. They will not be fixed sometimes. Suppose today the element ID is something, tomorrow the same element you are looking for and ID is totally changed. Okay, and when you're refreshing the page, the attributes are keeps changing. Name is something now, after a few seconds or after a few minutes, name is different. So in those cases, you cannot use static attributes as a locators. Then you need to choose for either CSS or XPath. We can write our locators more dynamic way. And even though the element attributes or properties are keeps changing, still we will able to locate a web elements. So that is the reason Selenium is provided so many types of locators, and whichever is appropriate and whichever locator is able to locate the element uniquely, you can use that particular locator. Okay, that is a basic context. But which one we have to use, ID or name? You can use anything. Okay, you can use anything. Any type of locator you can use. But ultimate goal is you should able to locate an element uniquely. That is the main goal of using locators. Okay, so today we will discuss about basic locators, like how to use ID, name, LinkText, PartialLinkText, class name, and tag name. In the next sessions, we will in detail discuss about CSS and XPath. Okay, fine. So as I said before, the basic locators, these we can directly find in HTML itself. We can directly find in HTML itself. Then how to see the HTML, how to see the attributes or properties in HTML, how to recognize which is tag name, which is attribute, which is value. So how can we get from the HTML? So the simplest way is, as soon as you open the web page, let me open some small web page. So let us say this is my simple demo application. So if you just right click on the page and you can see inspect, and it will show you DevTools window. So this is called DevTools window. On the Elements tab, you can see the HTML. And this is the page source of this particular page. Okay, here you can see everything. So whichever element you want to look, suppose I'm using this arrow mark as an inspector, and let me just inspect this logo. And you can see there is a IMG is a tag, SRC is an attribute, title is another attribute, alt is another attribute, class is another attribute. If you look at here, I don't see ID, I don't see name or anything, right? So in this particular case, we choose XPath for that element. Okay. Similarly, if I look at this search button, search is the input box. So you can see the tag name is input. And here the type attribute is there, name is there, but we cannot use type attribute directly. So if you look at the locators, only ID, name, LinkText, PartialLinkText, class name, tag is supported. Whichever is available for that element, you can use it. If I look at this, name is available, ID is not available. So you can use name as a locator to locate an element, but you cannot use type, you cannot use placeholder, you cannot use class directly. Okay, so you need to recognize them properly. What is the tag name? What are the attributes? What are their values? If you're able to understand this much from HTML, that is enough. What is tag name? What is an attribute? What is the value of an attribute? You need to recognize them clearly from HTML. Okay, so based on that, we will able to use those attributes as a locators. All right, so first thing, let us start with the basic locators, ID, and how to use name attribute as a locator. And then we'll discuss about LinkText and then partial link text. And after that, I will discuss about class name and the tag name. So these locators, especially we use to locate specific web elements, a single web elements, because ID will be the different from one element to another element. Name will be different. LinkText will be different. And LinkText, PartialLinkText used only for especially links to locate the links, but there is a small difference between LinkText and PartialLinkText. We will try to understand that. Okay, let me show you practically how can we use these locators to locate a web element. So for that, I'm taking this application as an example, and I'm going to write a small piece of code in which let us try to use locators. And in the previous class, we have discussed about whichever element you want to locate, there is a method available in WebDriver. So what is that method name? findElement. So by using driver instance, we can call findElement is a method. So this method will able to locate an element. On what basis it will locate, which needs some input. That is locator that we have to pass. How to pass the locator? Using by class, by.id or by.name, by.linkText. So all these methods are available inside the by class. So whichever attribute you are using, you can just call that particular method and provide that value in the bracket. Okay, so here this is the syntax. Here we have to pass the locator in the form of by class. Okay, yesterday we have understood this. Now let me try to write a code for this. Go to Eclipse and go to our project, WebDriver project, and create a new package for today. So I'm creating new package. Package name is day 22. Okay, so in this, I'm going to create a new class. I'll give some name to this. I say locators demo. I'm taking main method also. Let's say finish. Okay. So first thing, let me try to use these locators for particular elements on the web page. So first of all, before that, we need to launch our browser and then we have to open this URL of the application, right? This is the first thing. Before interacting with any element, we have to do this first thing. Now, how to launch my browser? We need to create an instance of WebDriver. That's the first step. Let us create WebDriver driver equal to new Chrome driver. This is a statement. So we need to import required packages and classes. So first we need to import this Chrome driver. So sometimes it is not showing as an auto suggestion. You can just write import manually. So in which package all the classes interfaces available? In org opencure.selenium. So this is the root package, and again there are some sub packages. Here Chrome driver is a class and WebDriver is an interface. Okay, we already discussed that earlier. WebDriver is an interface, Chrome driver is a class. So we have to import required packages. Now we create a driver instance. So with this will launch our Chrome browser. And then we have to open the URL of the application. So for that, what is the method we have to use? What is our method? Yes, driver.get. Get is a method. So in which we have to pass the URL of the application. So let me take this URL, demo.opencart.com. So this is a URL I'm passing. So this will open window a smaller size. Now I want to maximize this browser window. How to maximize the browser window? There is another command yesterday we discussed. Driver.manage method dot, again we have to call another method window dot maximize. Remember this, driver.manage.window.maximize. So this command will maximize the browser window. Now, so once your application is ready, now we want to interact with some element using different type of locators. First, let us look at the name locator, how to use name as a locator. So if I look at this page, I have a search box here. So I want to pass some text inside this box. I want to pass some text inside this box. So we need to locate this element. If I inspect this element like this and see what are the attributes are available for this element, you can see the name attribute is available. All right. So name attribute is available. So can we use this name attribute? Yes. You can just double click in this. It will select. So copy and go back. And now how to locate that element? By using findElement. Driver.findElement by dot name. So we have to take the name method. We have to call name. And here we have to pass the name of the attribute which we have captured from HTML. Okay, so this will return web element. On top of it, what is the action we can store? If you want to store this web element on another variable, you can store it. And that variable type is what? Web element. Now I want to perform some action on this web element. What is an action we can perform? We can pass the value into it. So we can use one method called send keys. In this, we can pass and some product name. I say Mac, I'm passing. So this is the way we can locate any element by using name locator. And if the name attribute is available, then only we can use name. If ID is available, then only can use ID. Otherwise, you cannot use this method. You need to check alternatives. Okay. So let me try to execute this. Run as Java application. So by using name, we are able to locate search box element. Now we can see it is located the element and also it is provided some text on the input box. Okay, fine. Now let us see some other element, how to locate element using ID. Let me comment this now. If suppose ID is available for that element, so then how can we locate an element if ID is available? Okay, so for example, let's say here the same application, on the same application, there is a logo element here. Let me inspect this logo element. Okay, if I inspect this logo element, okay, I don't have any ID attribute for this. Just a second. So we need to find some element with ID attribute. Let me check. Is there an element with ID ID? Anything. So for example, let me find something else. F. So if the ID is available, we will able to locate a web element. Okay, so you can see here there is an element with the logo. Yeah, so you can see here this is the element. So this element is having this ID div element. Actually, this is a image. This is img logo element, and above this there is another tag called href because that logo is having sublink, and above that actually this is a logo element here. This is ID. So now with this ID, I just want to locate the element. So what action we can perform on the logo here? Whether it is displayed or not, we can check. That logo, the image logo is displayed or not, we can check. So here there is a ID element. ID attribute is there for this logo. So let us try to use this. So I'm taking this logo and go back. You can say driver dot find element by dot ID we have to call ID method. In this, we have to pass the value of the ID. Now, this is a locator. This is the element which will return. And what is the action we can perform on the image? Normally, we can simply say display status, we can check. Now, how can we check the display status, whether it's displayed or not? We have a method, conditional method, dot is displayed. So this particular method will return true or false. If it is written true means the logo is displayed. If it is written false means logo is not displayed. So this will return a value, Boolean value. So here I can say logo display status. Now the type of the variable is what? Boolean variable. Because is displayed method will return true or false. Now based on that value, we can just check system.out.println, and here I'm just printing logo display status. So like this, we can also use ID as a locator to locate an element. If ID is present for any type of element, we can use that ID directly to locate an element. Let's run this. Okay, so on the UI, we are not done anything, but it will just return true or false. So if the logo is present, it is returning true. So this is how we can simply use ID locator. If ID is available, you can directly copy the value of ID attribute and you can use it. Now, the next thing is LinkText and PartialLinkText. LinkText and PartialLinkText. So these locators are available only for locating links, not for any other element. So LinkText and PartialLinkText. We need to understand what is LinkText and what is PartialLinkText. Okay. So for example, here in this particular application, let us say here, there are so many elements I can see, right? So here, this is my logo and this is my search box, and these are all different links actually. These are all different links. So let me locate one of these links. Let's say I'm trying to locate tablets here, inspect tablets. And if I look at this is the HTML of this link. So wherever you see this A is representing a link, anchor tag. In HTML, wherever you can see A, that is always representing a link, and which is associated with one attribute called href. Href is nothing but hyperlink reference. So when I click on this link, it will go to this particular page. You can see this is the link of target page. Href is always representing the target page of that particular link. Okay. Okay. So whenever you see a anchor tag which is having href attribute and associated with some value, which is actually target link, and class attribute is there, and here you can see this is called LinkText tablet. So this is called LinkText, which is called LinkText. Every link you can see the same thing. Okay, for example, if I look at this, so here the desktops is a LinkText. Desktops is a LinkText. Okay. So there are two things actually, LinkText, inner text. You need to understand the difference. So LinkText is available only for links. Inner text is available for all kinds of elements sometimes. Okay, inner text is different. But how can we differentiate? If it is a link text, the tag name will be A and there is href attribute will be there. And sometimes you can't see href attributes and a tag is different. Tag will be input or div or whatever. And you can see same kind of a text. That is not link text. That is inner text. Okay. So this is actually link text. So whatever you can see on the UI, same thing will be here. So here desktops, you can see same desktops. And you can see laptops and notebooks. If you expand another one, you can see laptops and notebooks. So whatever is displayed on the UI as a link, in HTML also you can see the same thing. So these are all called link texts. So if you want to locate any link on the web page, you can use that link text in a locator. Okay, for example, I want to locate this tablets, which is basically a link text, and I want to perform click action on this. I want to click on the tablets like this. Then it will go to target page, tablets page. Now I want to click on this. So before clicking on this tablets, I want to locate this element. So when you inspect this element, right click and inspect. This is a anchor tag, href attribute, and link text is available here. So let me capture this link text. Link text is not an attribute of the element. Remember this. Link text is not an attribute of the element. If you look at this anchor tag, what are the attributes here? Href is an attribute, class is an attribute, but tablets is not an attribute. It is a link text. Now, how to use this? How to locate a link by using link text? Say method driver.findElement by dot. Here you can see there are two methods, link text and partial link text. So first let us try to use link text. So when I use link text, you have to pass the complete value of the link text. The full text value you have to pass. So this will able to locate a web element. Even this also will return web element. Even link is also web element. But what is the action we perform on this link? We have to perform click action. So I can say dot click. So this will perform the click action on the link element. So by using link text, we can just pass link text here. So when I run this, this will perform click action on the tablet's link. And then it will go to the target page. Now you can see it is successfully click on the tablets. Now it will go to target page. But what is link text? What is the difference? Which is most popular interview question also. What is the difference between link text and partial link text? Which one will be preferred to use? So we understood what is link text. Link text means we have to capture the link text from the HTML. This is the link text, and we provided the full text here. But when I say partial link text, we no need to pass the complete text value. You can just pass some partial value. So for example, instead of link text, I'm calling partial link text dot partial link text. If you're calling partial link text, you no need to pass the complete value tablets. Okay, so simple, you can pass some portion of the value, like you can pass tab, or you can pass tablet like this, or you can pass blets, some portion of the text. It is not full link text actually. This is the part of the actual link text. So here I'm passing something called table. Just I'm passing only table. But actual link text is what? Tablets. But here I'm just passing only table. So this will also able to locate element. and will perform the action. So just observe, I'm running as a Java application. Okay, now you can see it is also done the same job. And here the actual link text is what? Tablets. But here we use just a small portion of the text, table. Still it is able to locate an element. But what is the problem with this? We always try to use only link text. We don't prefer to use partial link text. Okay, but why is it so? When I use partial link text, this may match with multiple web elements because we are not using the complete text value, right? We are using some portion of the value. Let's say I'm using table, and this may match with some other links on the same page. Then it will be conflict. There may be multiple elements which are having link text, and those link text is also having same text, right? So in those cases, you may not be able to locate element uniquely. That is a problem with the partial link text. So that is the reason partial link text will not be preferable when I identifying or when I locating the links elements. So always try to prefer only link text. In the link text, we will provide the complete value so that it will go and uniquely identify the web element. So what is the difference between link text and partial link text? Link text, we have to provide the complete link text. And when I use partial link text, we can pass some partial text of the link. That is the only difference. And which one we will prefer? Only link text we have to prefer. Okay, so that's the reason I'm just saying don't prefer partial link text. So there is no question like which one we have to. You can use both. You can use either link text or you can use partial link text. Both options are provided. But which one is preferred is link text is preferred. When you have to use partial link text, suppose if you do not have any other links which are having this text. Okay, suppose I have two links. And in both the two links, you have the same text. In that case, you don't prefer this. Okay, if both two links are different, then you have to prefer this. Okay, so for example, let me just tell you. Suppose in your web page, I'm taking same example. Tables, there is a link available. Tablets, there is another link is available. Okay, now in this particular case, I want to locate tables. I want to locate only tables. Two links are there. Assume there are two links. I want to locate tables. Which one you will use, partial link text or link text? Which one you will use, link text or partial link text? When I use partial link text, what is the problem in this? That will also match second link, right? That will also match second link. That is a problem. So when you have to use link text, if you are able to locate element uniquely, then you have to use link text directly. Okay, suppose if you have multiple links and you can see the tables is also part of here, the table part, here it is there, here it is there. In those cases, you have to use only link text. Link text is preferred in this. Partial link text is not preferred. When I use partial link text, it will be the same. Okay, so this is the scenario. Link text is always preferable. Partial link text is not preferable. But if you have single link on the web page, suppose there is only one link like this, and there is no other link which is having table. There is no other link which is having table. Then you can use this table as part of partial link text. That is enough for this. Okay, so basic difference is in the link text, we have to pass a full text value. If it is a partial link text, we have to just pass some portion of the value. And when we have to prefer partial link text, if there are some link and there is nothing is common in those links, they can use partial link text. Okay, suppose I have a submit button. Okay, and I have another button called send button. Submit and send button. Here you can use partial link text because nothing is common in these two except this first character. Nothing is same in this both, right? So you can use partial link text. Partial link text of sub you can specify. Partial link text of send you can specify. Both are totally different. So in these cases, you can prefer partial link text. But in this particular case, always try to prefer link text. As you understood here, in this particular case, prefer to use only link text because nothing is common in both. But here, both are totally different. So you can use partial link text. Partial link text. So this is the scenario, right? So we have seen how to use name, how to use ID, how to use link text and partial link text. So these are all the basic type of locators which we can use to locate specific web elements or single web elements. Okay. Now we also have two more locators, class and tag. Very, very important. Listen this very carefully. Tag and class. Tag name and class. So these are the two locators which we can directly find in HTML, just like other attributes. Tag name and class also we can directly find in HTML. But the tag name and class we will use to locate multiple web elements or group of web elements, not for specific web elements. What is the requirement? Because tag name can be same for multiple elements. If I look at this page, see there are so many li tags are there. Li tag name is same for all these elements, right? And you can see multiple div tags also. You can see div tags in many places. You can see div tag in many places. So most of the times tag names will be more, means multiple elements are having same kind of a tag name. Suppose there are 5 images on this web page. All images are having same tag name, which is img. And there are multiple links are in this page. Every link is having same tag name, which is a anchor tag. There are multiple input boxes are there. In all input boxes having same tag name, which is input. Same multiple buttons are there in the same page. All buttons are having same tag, which is button tag. So the tag name will be same for group of elements or multiple web elements. So we cannot use tag name locator for locating specific web element. It is for identifying or locating group of web elements. Same thing for class also. Class is nothing but a category of elements. Suppose if you find multiple checkboxes, all the checkboxes are having same value for class attribute. And suppose the class attribute is available for radio buttons. The value of the class attribute is same for all radio buttons. Suppose if you find multiple drop-downs on your web page, all the drop-downs are having class attribute, but the value of class attribute is same for all the drop-downs. So the class is nothing but a category of elements. So same kind of elements are having same value for class attribute. That is the reason even this locator also we will try to use to locate group of elements or multiple web elements. So tag name and class name. So these locators especially used to get group of web elements, not a specific web element. Okay, remember that point. But what is the use? What is the requirement to get group of elements? We always need to locate a specific web element, right? We will perform action on the web element. We always try to get specific web element. But why we need to get a group of web element? What is the requirement for that? Sometimes we need to do some validations on group of web elements. For example, on this particular web page, I want to find how many total number of links are there, or I want to capture all the links from this web page. I want to count total number of links on this web page, and then I will compare with my expected number of links. Suppose I'm expecting 100 links should be present on this web page. How can we validate? So manually it is very difficult thing, right? Because there are so many links are there. We cannot count each and every link. And sometimes there may be some hidden links also there. They are not visible on the page. So in that case, we want to capture all the links from the web page, group of links from the web page, group of elements from the web page. In that case, we will use something called tag name or class. And suppose I want to find total number of images on this page. How many total number of images are present? So how can we count? We need to capture all the image elements. Every image is a web element. So we need to capture all the images from the web page, and then we will be able to count it. So in that particular scenarios, we want to work with the group of web elements. If we want to capture a group of web elements, we want to use a common thing. There should be some common thing should be there for every element. And that common thing is what? Either it can be tag name or class. So these things are commonly there for group of web elements. So tag name and class name will be used whenever you want to capture group of web elements, whenever you want to work with the group of web elements. So remember this point. So for specific element, for unique element, you cannot use tag name or class. Tag name or class will be used for getting group of web elements. Now I will show you some examples. So on this particular web page, okay, my requirement is I want to capture all these header related links. Like here is currency, phone number, and this my account, my wish list, shopping cart, checkout. There are some links are present on the header. I want to capture them. And I want to find how many links are there in the header part. How many links are there in the header part? I want to just find out. So what we can do is we need to find out one common thing between all of them. So if I inspect somewhere on the header, just observe, or let us take one element. Let's take a phone number like this. And you can see this. So what is this here? DMD inline. This is a class attribute of this phone number. And if I look at here, there is a LI tag and UL. UL is representing user list and LI is representing list item. So here, if I look at the HTML, every LI tag is representing one element on the header. If I look at here, see, every LI, how many LIs are here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 LIs are there. These 5 LIs are representing 5 elements on the header. You can just clearly see that. Whenever I'm moving the cursor on one LI to another LI, it is highlighting the particular element on the web page. You can see that. So now I want to find how many header links are there on the web page. So I want to capture all of them. How to capture? We need to find one common thing. What is the common thing? What is the common attribute between them? Here you can see the class. You can see there is a class attribute is there for LI tag. Okay, so list inline item. And again, if I use LI tag, which is also common, right? But it will able to get all other links also. Maybe some other LI items in the bottom list. There are so many links are there. Even this also we will able to get. But I don't want these footer links. I want only header links. So that is the reason I'm choosing this. So this is a UL which is highlighting the entire part, which contains each and every list item. So now I want to use this class attribute value, which will able to match these 5 elements. Okay. So what we can do now, let us try to capture this class, because the value of the class attribute is same for all these elements. Now observe very carefully. This is something new you will learn. See, here we are using class attribute, which is common for all the elements. And also second thing is what we are trying to capture multiple web elements. With that class attribute, we are trying to capture multiple web elements, not a single web element. So whenever you want to capture multiple web elements, you have to use findElements. This is the method. Okay. Whenever you want to capture one single web element, you have to use findElement. When you want to capture multiple elements or group of web elements, you have to use findElements. So here we have to use by.className. Here we specify the class name and semicolon. So findElement method will return one single web element. findElements method will return multiple web elements. Multiple web elements. Now, what is the return type of here? I'm just keeping one variable here, header links. Now, what is the type of this variable? If it is a find element, obviously this variable type is web element. But here we are using findElements. This will return multiple web elements. So if you want to store multiple things into a variable, we have to go with either list collection or set collection. And what type of elements it is storing? Web element. So the variable should be list of web element. Okay, now we need to import the list collection from java.util, and also we have to import web element. So the return type of findElements is what? List of web element. If you put the cursor, it will show you the list of web element is a return type of findElements. List is a what? Java collection. List is what? Java collection. Okay. So my question is, why they make it as a list? Why can't it is a set? So whatever return type they are mentioning, same return type we have to specify here. We cannot say set here. They are returning list collection. So the variable should be list. We cannot use list here. Why they make as a list? Why they can't make it as a set? What could be the reason for that? Yes. Whenever you are capturing the elements, group of elements, there may be some duplicates also available, right? There is a chance of having group duplicate elements. So if it is a set, if it is a list collection, it is allowed to have duplicates. But if it is a set collection, it cannot have duplicates. So that is the reason they have designed this findElements method return type is list of web element. Remember this point. findElement is a method which will return single web element. So the type of variable should be web element. findElements method will return a group of web elements. So the return type will be list, means which can have multiple, and every value is what? Web element type. Web element type. So this is the return type of findElements. Okay. Now I captured all the header links in this particular variable. Can we find how many are captured? How many header links are there? Total number of header links. How to count? Yes. So suppose if we have some values or elements in the list collection, how can we find size of the collection, size of the list? By using size method, right? Size is a method which is available for list collection. In Java sessions, we discussed about this. How to find total number of elements in the list by using size method. So I can say header links dot size. So this will return total number of elements. Now I'm just printing here. So here I can say total number of header links. Header links. I'm just printing that value. And later, if you want to use it for validation, you can use it. So this is a scenario. Why we need to capture group of elements and why we need to use a class name, because all these group of elements are having same class name attribute. So same value for class name. So I'm using that attribute in the class, and which will able to capture multiple elements or group of web elements. Then we can find total number of links like this. Fine. So let's try to execute now. This is one scenario. If you want to capture group of elements, if they are having same value for class attribute, we can use class name. Okay, now we can just go back. Yeah, now it is saying 7. So why it is 7? Here we have only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Why it is 7? Because there are some other hidden links also there. Even this is also captured. The arrow and the symbols are there right here, and they also captured. So some hidden header links also there. They are also having same class name. Sometimes they may not able to visible on the page, but if you are open this page on the mobile device, Sometimes some elements will be displayed. So these are the header links which is captured from the web page. Yes, we can also print each and every link in the console window, and also we can perform click action on every link, and we can also verify the target page. So that in all next level. Okay, how to validate the links. I will show you that again, different concept. I'm not introducing that here. So what is link, how many types of links, what is broken link, how to find it. This is all different concept. Here our focus is only on the locators concept. Okay, don't go beyond that. So we will cover that part in the next sessions. So here just stick to only locators concept. Don't go beyond that. So how to use CSS, how to use class name here to locate a group of web elements. Is this clear, everyone? How to use class name locator to locate a group of web elements. Yes. So now let me try to show you one more example. For example, tag name. We also have tag name. This is for class name. So now let us see how to use tag name for getting group of web elements. Sometimes we want to capture group of elements and you don't see class attribute for them. So we need to find some alternative. So we can use tag name also to locate a group of web elements. We can also use tag name for locating group of web elements. For example, on this particular page, there are so many number of links are present. So many links are present in this particular page. So now I want to find all the links, including header links, this menu links, and here product links. And in the bottom of the page also, there are so many links are there. So I want to find out how many total number of links present on this particular web page. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to find one common thing in all the links. So what is a common thing which we have in the links is tag name. So if you inspect any link, the tag name will be the same. That is A. A is always representing the tag name, anchor tag. Even if you inspect any other bottom link, for example, here about us, the anchor tag is there. So for every link, there is the same tag name, which is A. So with this, we will able to capture all the links from the web page. So now let me show you how to use tag name as a locator to get a group of web elements. Again, driver dot, which one we have to use, findElement or findElements? I want to get multiple web elements. Obviously, we use findElements. findElements by dot tag name. By dot tag name. So what is the tag name we are looking for? A. A is a tag name. That's it. End the statement. So this will also return all the links in the form of web elements. So what is a return type here? Return type. I'm just keeping links variable. Here return type is what? Again, list of web element. This is a return type. So now we have captured all the links into variable. Now the next thing is what we want to find. How many links are there? So how can we find total number of links? Total number of links. Total number of links. Links dot size. Links dot size. Because it is a collection, we can use size. So this will return total number of links which are present on this particular page. All the links on the web page. Okay, now we can just go back. Now totally 76 links are there in the web page. So according to your requirement, what you are expecting, suppose you are expecting 100 links, but here only 76 links are there. So after comparison, you can make our test fail. And if the links count is same, you can make our test passed. So like this, we can put some variations on this values. Similarly, let me show you something else. So by using tag name also, we can capture group of elements. Now my requirement is, I want to find total number of images on this web page. How many total number of images are there? Images in the sense, these slider images, the product images, here the logo images, all images. How many total number of images are there in this web page? I want to find out. So what is a common thing which we have in these images is again tag name. So tag name is always img. If you inspect any image, the tag name of the image will be img. Wherever you see img, you can simply finalize that is a image element. Okay, so now I want to capture all the images which are present on the web page. So what we can do, again, we can use same tag name locator. You say driver dot find elements by dot tag name. Tag name is what? img. So this will return all the images on the web page, and again return type is what? List of web element is a return type. Now if you want to find total number of images, you can simply print here total number of images is what? Images dot size. So this will give you total number of images present on the web page. Okay, so this is how we can simply use tag name to get a group of elements. So tag name and class name. So these two locators especially we use for getting group of elements or capturing group of web elements. And ID, name, link text, partial link text we can use to get specific type of web elements. Okay, we can also print the text with the size. Text with the size means what? Not understood. So size in the sense, once you capture all the web elements in a variable, we can find size, means which will return total number of images in this particular collection. In case of links, we already captured all the links here. So here we find out the total number of links. And again, if you want to print those link text, we can print. Again, we have to write another for loop and capture link text from every link, and you can print that link text in the console window. Okay, that is again different validation, and we will discuss these elements separately. Okay, we will deal with all kinds of elements, how to handle input boxes, how to handle links, how to handle images. So we'll individually discuss each and every web element, and that time I will show you what are all validations we can do on the links, how to capture links, how to click on the links, how to validate target URLs. Okay, so we'll discuss them in the separate session, because here the concept is what? Only locators. So just stick to only locators concept. Okay, so guys, are you clear about these basic locators? How to use ID, name, link text, partial link text, tag name, and class name. So now I'll discuss one important concept, very, very important interview question. We already discussed, but we will go in depth. We understood two methods: find element, find elements, two methods, right? So if anybody asks you what is the difference between find element and find elements, most of the people, 90% of the people will say find element will locate one single web element. Find elements will locate group of web elements or multiple web elements. This is the only single answer people will say. But there are other differences also there with these two methods. So just common answer is what? Find element will return single web element, and find elements method will return multiple web elements. So this is the common answer most of the people will tell. So now let us try to differentiate these two methods in the different scenarios by taking different scenarios. Okay, now my first scenario is, this is most important, listen very carefully. First scenario. So in the find element, in find elements, in both the methods, we have to pass locator, right? In both the methods, we have to pass locator using by.id or by.class or by.tag, whatever. Both the methods will take locator as a parameter. So in scenario one, for example, my locator, whatever locator I'm providing, if the locator is matching with a single web element, let us assume whatever locator I'm passing in this methods, which is locating single web element, the locator is exactly pointing single web element. Now I'm using that locator in findElement method. And also I'm using that locator in findElements method. Observe very carefully. So here the scenario is what? Locator is matching with the single web element on the web page. Now I'm using that locator in the findElement. What this will return? Obviously, this will return single web element. Single web element, right? Because the locator is pointing single web element, and here outside also we use findElement. Both are same. So single web element will be returned. And what is the return type of this? Web element is a return type. Return type is what? Web element. This is more clear for us. Locator is pointing with single web element. findElement also will able to return one single web element. So ultimately we will get single web element. The return type is web element. Now the locator is matching single web element, but we are using in findElements. Instead of findElement, I'm using findElements, which will able to locate group of elements, but the locator is pointing single web element. Now tell me what this will return. Locator is pointing single web element, but findElements method will able to return multiple elements. But locator is pointing with a single web element. Yes. So in the list collection, can we store single value? List collection is meant for what? To store group of values. But still we can store one single value, right? In the list collection. List contains a single value also, right? So findElements will return list collection. But because locator is pointing with a single web element, only that element will be returned in the list collection. So this will also return single web element. But the return type is what? Still it is a list. Still is a list, but the list collection contains a single web element. If the locator is pointing to multiple elements, the list collection contains a multiple web elements. If the locator is pointing to single web element, the list collection contains a single web element. Is this clear, everyone? So findElement with the locator, findElements with single locator. So here locator is matching with a single web element. If it is a findElement, return type is web element. If it is a findElements, return type is still list of web element. Even though it is returning single web element, return type still it is list of web element. Okay, this is the first scenario. Now the second scenario. Scenario 2. Locator is matching with multiple web elements. Okay, locator, whatever, it can be tag name or class name, whatever. So locator is matching with multiple web elements, but I'm using findElement of locator. Again, findElements of locator. Now tell me the first one. This locator is matching with multiple web elements, group of web elements, but here I'm using only findElement. So what this will return? Single or multiple elements. So here the locator is pointing group of elements, but here I'm using findElement. Will this return group of elements or single web element? Listen very carefully. Locator is matching with a group of web elements or multiple web elements. But here findElement is able to return only one element at a time. findElement cannot return multiple values. But locator is pointing multiple elements. Then how it will return? What this will return? See, a very important scenario. If the locator is pointing multiple web elements, let us say here I have multiple web elements. First element, second, third, fourth, 5 elements are there. And this locator is pointing all the elements, but I'm using findElement method. This will able to return only single web element. So even though this locator is matching with multiple web elements, because we are using findElement, it will return first element on the web page. Okay, whichever element comes first on the HTML, and that element will be returned. Ultimately, the return type is what? Again, web element. Return type is web element. Got my point? So even though that locator is matching with multiple web elements, because we use findElement, it will return first element on this list. On multiple group of elements, whichever element comes first on the web page, only that element will be returned. So this is the case. All right. So now this is the second case. In the second case, locator is matching with multiple web elements. But when I use findElement outside, still it is returning single web element. Sorry. Single web element will be written, and return type is what? Return type is still web element. Because whenever you use findElement, that is always written web element. Now come to the second case. The locator is matching with multiple web elements, and outside also I'm using findElements. So what this will return? Single element or multiple web elements? Yes, this will return multiple web elements because the locator is matching multiple web elements, and outside also we use findElements. So obviously it will return multiple web elements, and return type is what? List of web element. This is the return type. So scenario 2 is also clear. Now third scenario, which is most important. Many interviews people will ask you this. Scenario 3. Suppose my locator is not matching with any of the elements, single or multiple. Locator is not matching with any element or elements, single or multiple, whatever. Our locator is not matching with any of the elements on the web page. Now I'm using findElement of locator, findElements of locator. Now tell me what the first one will return. Locator is not matching with any of the elements. Locator is not matching with any of the elements, but still I'm using it in the findElement. What this will return? This will return an exception. What is that exception? No such element exception. No such element exception will be returned. Okay. If locator is not matching with any of the element on the web page, if you still use in findElement, so findElement method will return no such element exception. No such element exception will be returned if the locator is not matching with any of the element. Now in case of findElements, if the locator is not matching with any of these elements, locator is not matching with any of the elements on the web page. Now what findElements method will return? Can you guess what findElements method will return? It will not throw any exception. Instead, it will just return 0. It will return 0 elements. Okay, because the locator is not matching with any of the elements, obviously 0. So findElements always returns what? Number of elements. Number of elements. If no element found, obviously the list collection contains what? 0. So after using it, if you find a total number of elements, it is returning 0. It will not throw any exception. This will not throw any exception. The return is 0. So that is a major difference between findElement and findElement. If the locator is not matching with any of the element, findElement method will return no such element exception. In case of findElements, it will not throw any exception. Will not throw any exception. It will, when you count it, it will just return 0. But it will not throw any exception. Or findElement method will throw some exception. Okay. So is this clear, everyone? These are the 3 scenarios you need to remember when I use findElement and findElements. Yes, it will create an empty list collection. If there is no element, obviously the list will create, which is doesn't have anything, no values in the list. Empty list will be created. Okay. So this is all about the basic type of locators. We have discussed about ID, name, LinkText and PartialLinkText, class name and tag name. And along with this, we try to understand what are the differences between findElement and findElements. And also we have discussed about what is the difference between LinkText and PartialLinkText. Okay. So we'll stop here for today's session. In the tomorrow's session, we will discuss about CSS and XPath. So these two are very huge concepts. We'll take another 2 sessions for CSS and XPath, and then we will finish the locators concept. And this presentation I will share once we completed this entire topic. So there are so many slides are there only related to locators. All the locators I have covered in this slide. So I will share this slide once we have completed this concept. Then you will be able to understand this. Okay. Yeah. So I will stop here for today's session and come to the assignment part. For today's assignment, you guys can try this. Very simple, based upon today's topics. So this is the application. You can just open. This is your application URL. I think we used this yesterday also. demoblaze.com. So in this particular page, you have to find total number of links, and also you can print them. If you want to print, you can print those total number of links. Okay, so or else you can just leave this for now. In the next sessions, I will tell you. So total number of links and total number of images. Okay, and also click on any product link using LinkText and product link test. You can choose any of the product and then click on this link like this. Using PartialLinkText or LinkText. Just do one round of practice. So whatever topics we discussed today, based on the topics, you guys can try this. So this is assignment for today. And tomorrow we'll discuss other type of locators. Okay. So that's all for today's session. I will stop here. We'll continue tomorrow.